Welcome back to Melody Loves Death Metal. Happy Friday. I'm doing something a little bit different today. So lately, within the last year or two, I've been pretty much, I wouldn't say obsessed, but a massive fan of this band, Tenere Bro, I believe is how you say it. And I've been hunting and trying to collect all of their physical media that is out there for sale that has been pressed and released. So far, I've gotten everything that I've been able to. There is one release that is pretty impossible to find, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So I figured let's talk about Tenere Bro. So this band has been this is probably like my favorite death metal band at the moment. I've been listening to them just about every day. I've been diving into their discography and just trying to collect as much as I possibly can from this band. So far, I've only got mostly tapes. They obviously have all physical media formats out there, but for the most part, I've been starting off small and getting most of their cassette tapes, and then whatever I'm not able to find on cassette, I'm able to find on their 7 inches. So I don't really collect 7 inches, as you guys know. I've talked about that 100 times on this channel. But if it's a band that I absolutely love, like Hemorrhage or Dismember or any of those types of bands, I will get their 7 inches. Devourment is another one that I have their 7 inches from. And then if anybody ever sends me gifts and stuff like that, I usually keep them. Those are also pretty cool too. So let's go ahead and get started. Tenere Bro is a band out of Italy, and they're most known for worshipping Italian horror movies and then incorporating that into death metal. So it's an Italian horror death metal band, and they do a lot of movies that I, for one, am not super familiar with that from time to time. So this has opened up my repertoire of horror movies, especially from back in the day. They've been around since the early, late 2000s. Their first demo was released in 2019, so they're still a relatively newer band out there. Members in this band, actually, it's funny because I didn't realize this until maybe sometime last year, and that's just because admittedly I didn't dive into who was in this band. Is Hans? It's a two-piece, but Hans is also the owner of Dismal Fate Records, and he's also in the band Bava, which I love that EP. I'm a huge fan of the Bava EP. So Hans is awesome, and funny enough, he also is the owner of Dismal Fate Records, which is one of my favorite underground death metal labels. I've been trying to buy as much from him lately, and Iron Fortress Records has been making that easier for me to be able to get those things in my collection because he now distros them. So out of Italy, it can be kind of costly for the shipping to get these into a collection. So, but before I get started, in the background there is a theme for this today, and you'll see why. I am playing Mortuary Ghoul in the background, Friends with the Dead. Actually, Matt Ghoul, the Ghoul himself, sent me a copy of this. Was it last year or maybe the year before? About 2 years ago. I am also a huge fan of Mortuary Ghoul. I will probably do another video just about this band as well. But I'm playing this in the background because there's a theme with this. I figured it made sense. So also to drown out any background noise that's going on in my house right now, because it's summer break, like I've said. My kids, the wife, the dogs, everybody's home today. So yeah, Mortuary Ghoul. This also came out on Dismal Fate Records, and it looks like it was also a split release, I think. No, Dismal Fate Records. So the Ghoul himself, he is in the U.S., so he sent these to me because he knew that I was having a hard time getting them in stock in the U.S. and distros weren't carrying them yet, and this is before Iron Fortress was the main go-to for me. So thank you so much to that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So there are 2 full lengths that this band has out, and then the rest are EPs, and then 1 demo. So that's the extent of their discography, but highly collectible items. They sell out quick, very limited runs. So that is what has made it fun about hunting. One of the things about physical media collecting for me is the hunt. There is a gratification there that just is so fun. And again, it also is kind of sad when it comes to an end, but for this band, it's not coming to an end yet, because again, there's 2 things that I'm still waiting to get. As soon as Iron Fortress gets it in the distro, I'm going to snag it. This is one of the few bands where I'm trying to get like all the special editions and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started. So their first release was the demo number 1, 2019. This was put out, I believe it was self-released, and then Desert Wastelands put out the cassette, which I have not been able to find a copy of that. And then there was also a bunch of 7 inches that were pressed by 7 Metal Inches Records, which is what I was able to snag. So this is the red version. There was also a red with black splatter, and then just a plain black version. This came out in 2020, so shortly after their initial release. So it's a little bit dark there, but as you can see, it's just a regular jacket, and there is a printed inner sleeve here. Italian horror, glorifying death metal. And then there you go, Dismal Fate Records. The font is a little hard to read because it's red on black, but the art was done by Human Corpse, and the logo was done by Hans. All music by Tenere Bro. So yeah, 7 Metal Inches Records. This is the first time I ever bought anything from them. I'd never heard of them, but it's a cool little label that is based out of, let me see here, I just picked it up. That's based out of Germany. So they press these awesome like little 7 inches. They did the dismember ones that are going around everywhere. There's the Putridarium Troll Crave. So there's a couple of these 7 inches that I've actually been collecting because they're really nice quality, and it's cool that they've reissued some of these. So a little bit of a tangent there. I'll link in the description where you can find it. So on the back it has Italian that I can't read, but this demo is a 4-track demo. Very good. The evolution of this band from sound and just style of the death metal they play definitely is very like that. You can tell they go through like a evolution of that. I definitely am a fan of everything that they put out, but definitely their newer music is what I have been really enjoying, because I really like where they've been going with their sound. And then again, a nice little 7-inch red. Like I said, there was 3 color variants of this. It looks like they put out a recent one that was a repress of this back in 2023, but these are all over Discogs, and I don't know if they have a website to buy this on, but you can find these if you're looking for it. Like I said, the cassette that Desert Wastelands put out has been hard to find. I haven't been able to find a copy of that, but it's in my want list. So if you have it for sale, hit me up. I will gladly buy it off of you. So that is the demo, and this is a really good demo. I've been playing this. I don't play 7 inches a whole lot, but I had been streaming this for such a long time, and then finally, get in there. God damn. It's a tight fit, tight squeeze. I'll do this off camera. But yeah, a really great demo. So again, if you have the Desert Wastelands cassette that came out in 2019, definitely hit me up. I will buy it off of you. It's in my want list. I've been wanting it for a while. I just haven't been able to find a copy of it that has been at least decent. People have been selling it for stupid prices on Discogs, and they're international, which is funny because Desert Wastelands is in the US. So anyway, all right. So the next thing that I have in here is their first EP that came out in 2020. This is called Liberace del Male, I think is how you say it. And again, another Desert Wastelands release that they did. This is admittedly the first time I ever heard of this band. I remember when Desert Wastelands put this out, and I'm a huge fan of that label. I've talked about them 100 times on here in the past. There was also a Dismal Fate Records release of this as well on cassette tape, which is I immediately don't have, but again would love to get a copy of that. I'm not much of like a try to find every single release of a single album or anything like that, but for this band I definitely will. And there was also a CD that was put out by Extreme Music. Now I don't own any Tenere Bro CDs, funny enough, so that'll be the next thing that I try to get within this collection. So a very, very good EP. This immediately is where I became a fan of this band. I played the death out of this tape. Nice red pro printed tape there with that like VHS like horror movie style of an J card here. It's a 3-track EP, very, very good. So yeah, awesome. So again, if anybody has a Dismal Fate cassette tape for this or a CD you're willing to part with, let me know. I'm in the hunt Also, if you follow me on Discogs, these are all my want list as well too. So there you go. That's their first EP. Put these off the side. I have so much stuff here on my desk because I'm pre-recording all these videos. As you guys know, I'm on vacation, so I have shit all over my desk because I'm deciding what videos to record and pre-upload before I leave. Okay. So the next release in their discography is their first full length that came out in 2022. This is called Le Inzio Dion Incubo. I can't, again, I don't speak Italian, so this one is so awesome. This was one of the things that I got early on in my collection that I absolutely fell in love with. So this one came out on Dismal Fate Records from a cassette, which is what I have here. It also came out in LP, which again, the LPs are not ones that I've bought yet, so that'll be the next thing that I go to hunt on Extreme Music. And then they also put out, there's several different copies of this cassette on Dismal Fate Records. So LP, Extreme Music, Dismal Fate, cassette tape. It doesn't look like they ever pressed the CD for, oh they did, Extreme pressed the CD. So yeah, this is the copy that I have. This is the repress that came out in 2023, so I was unable to grab this because again, Dismal Fate was at the time of this being released was a little bit harder for me to get. It was back in 2022. It was before, like I said, Ben was really pumping with that distro and having it easy to find. So I was able to snag this repress. I believe I got this off of Discogs. I just don't remember from who. But yeah, so this one is, admittedly, I love this album. I'm a huge fan of this album. For a while, this was like my favorite release in their discography, but they've put out so much other music since then that I've just become a huge fan of. So an awesome yellow tape. And the thing I love about Dismal Fate Records releases is that the tape, you can feel the ink on it. Like, it's just a satisfying tidbit, little nitpicky thing that doesn't matter, but yeah. So just, I'm gonna listen to all these things probably today. Again, this is what I do. And again, that horror movie like VHS style cassette cover. I love the yellow, black and white aesthetic of this. The layout is awesome. And then here is the band on the other side, and then the scratchy lyrics, the scratchy written lyrics. So awesome album. Again, if you've never heard this, check it out. And again, this is the reissue cassette. I do want the original pressing too, so on my want list, I'll get there for now. But for now, I'm happy with this. So that's the name of it. Good luck trying to read it. Again, I don't speak Italian, so I'm gonna butcher all of these names. Alright, so next in the discography, after their first full length, they came out with another EP called Carne Umana. And funny enough, this one was a little bit harder to find for a while there. It was definitely sold out for a while, and I was able to find a copy of it on Discogs last year, but this came out in 2022. And again, I got the 7-inch. So I was super lucky when I found this, and I now have noticed that it's starting to pop up again. I think I got this through Red Scroll. Red Scroll got a copy of this. So Carne Umana is probably my favorite EP of theirs, maybe for now. Their newest one that they put out this year is really, really good. I've been listening to that a lot. But there's a cassette tape on Dismal Fate. That's on my want list. If anybody has it, I will gladly buy it off of you. And then 7 Metal Inches Records put out the 7 inches again. So there was 2 different versions of this. There was a green version, and then there was a magenta version. And then Dismal Fate put out another cassette. So there was 2 different cassettes. There was one that was like a special edition, and one was just a normal cassette. Both of those I'm looking for, but for now I have this. So this is the magenta version that I was able to snag, and these kind of sell for dumb prices. Do not buy them for more than $20 or even more than $15. I spent $10 on this a couple of years ago, so, but I've been seeing them selling for stupid prices. So here is the, yeah, awesome. Just the layouts and the artwork for these albums are so good. And there's the guys for the bands. Funny enough, I'm gonna quickly glaze over that. So it's got the rated R thing. Yeah, so awesome 7-inch. These are such nice quality. They sound so good. The jackets are really nice. And then here is the magenta version, Will I get the other special edition green? I don't know, maybe. If I'm able to find a decent enough copy, I will. But I love that color. It literally doesn't go well with the album cover, really. I mean, a little bit it does, but whatever. I got what I was able to find through Discogs. So there's this. So Carne Umana. So again, if you have the Dismal Fate cassettes, let me know. Hans, if you're watching this, if you somehow have extra copies laying around, let me know. I will gladly buy them off of you, because I would love to have all the cassettes as well. And then no, like, other versions of this have put out, no CD or anything. So yeah, Carne Umana. After Carne Umana, I don't know if I'm saying that right, I'm probably butchering it, another EP came out called Traque de Violenza Carnal, I believe is how you say it. Now, this is the one that has been impossible for me to track down, and the reason for that is because this was released, I believe, for a special concert, so I think you could only get it in person. And since then, it has not popped up on Discogs. There are 54 people that have it. There are 46 people that want it. It has never been sold on Discogs. So this is virtually impossible for me to find, but there is a 7-inch, that 7 inches Metal Records put out. Yeah, it says marble colored 7-inch vinyl house in a single pocket sleeve, including an insert. It was only limited to 100 copies, and it was for NRW Death Fest 2023 special edition. And this was a homage to Sergio Martino's Torso. So again, it was only put out for a festival. Nobody has ever put it for sale on Discogs. So if you somehow have a copy of this to sell, hit me up. I'm going to put the picture of it up here. Again, this is the only thing that I don't own by them physically. I've heard it. It's on streaming platforms. It's so good. I just, again, it hasn't been for sale, and unfortunately I was not able to go to that festival. So that is next within their discography. The next one is their second full-length album, Ultime Grida dalla Gua. I'm gonna butcher this, and I have 2 copies of this. There is admittedly one other copy that I am going to snag because I've been able to find it, but it did sell out on Dismal Fate Records. So this is their second full length that came out in 2023. I feel like this is the one that probably put them more on the map in terms of people knowing who they were, figuring it out, and this is where I started to see their social media presence way more after this full length came out. So the LP was put out by Extreme Music. That is accessible. I've almost bought it a couple of times now. I might bite the bullet. It was my birthday last week, so I've got some cash flow that I can use for that. There was also a cassette on Dismal Fate Records, which was the original pressing of that. I do not own that. That's on my want list. But Extreme Music also was a co-collaborator, co-releaser for this, and they put out a cassette tape as well, which is the one that I do have in my collection. And then fairly recently, Dismal Fate Records reissued this on some special edition cassettes with alternate artwork, and I grabbed one of those directly from Dismal Fate. I did not snag the other one, but the other copy I'll talk about. So yeah, I do have 2 copies of this. So here is the Extreme Music one. This is an original pressing from when it first came out. Interesting enough, this is a double colored tape. So the B side is black, and that is because this has does this have extra tracks on it, or am I thinking of another one? I'm thinking of another one, but anyway. And then white on this side. So I don't have a whole lot of Extreme Music cassette tapes in my collection. I feel like I often get their CDs instead. So here is the artwork. I'm sure you've seen this around. Again, I feel like this is probably the more popular release that they've had, that people have started to understand who they were, or just know who they were. And I've started to see this way more. So there you go. There's the theme of it. So there's that one. And then, like I said, Dismal Fate, towards the end of last year, released these special edition alternate cover ones. The one that I have here is called the Holocaust version. This was limited to 50 copies. And it also includes, this is the one that includes it. This also includes the Carne Umana EP that I just showed on here too. So it's a bit of a comp. So yeah, if you didn't have that EP, you can get it through this cassette tape. Again, only limited to 50 copies. This was the version that I bought. I think I just said add to cart and I only bought one directly from them, but there is the other version that I'll tell you about in a minute. God, these images are quite something. Just a second, let me pull it up. That Dismal Fate also released, and it's sold out, so I have to just go hunt it. I think I'm pretty sure I saw it for sale on Discogs somewhere. It was called the Ferox version. This was also limited to 50 copies, and it was like a white pro printed tape with a different album cover. So, yeah, pretty cool. Again, that also included the EP on it as well. But just because the album cover and the tape is different, I wouldn't mind having both copies. So, that is the second full length release that they put out, and those are the versions that I have. Amazing. I love that album too. Next is probably one of my favorite releases that I listen to quite a bit, over and over and over again, is another EP from 2023. It was shortly after the full length came out. La Bestia. Again, I'm gonna butcher it. I'm not gonna say it correctly, so I'm just not even gonna try. This one is probably another one that you recognize. I think a lot of people started to again praise this band, and it was pretty popular EP. But this was also put out. Dismal Fate Records did the cassette, and then 7 Metal Inches Records did the 7 inches, and then Dismal Fate also did a special edition cassette, which unfortunately I was not able to grab. Again, if anybody has that or the 7-inch for this, I'll gladly buy. But here is my original Dismal Fate Records pressing. It's again that horror movie like VHS style cover. Awesome. As you can see, I was listening to this fairly recently. Awesome red trans tape with that print that you can feel. Just, it's so satisfying. If you own a Dismal Fate record cassette, you'll understand what I mean. And again, this is one of my favorite releases. I love this EP. It's so good. And then here is the J card. And there you go. I'm not touching really in depth around the horror movies that this is based around, because again, my knowledge of that is so bad. And I'm learning, and I'll get up to speed on all of those. And I have watched a couple of these movies, and I've been able to find on streaming and stuff after listening to the album. But yeah, so here is the EP. Again, there's a 7-inch on this, and then a special edition cassette tape. If you have them, hit me up. All of this will be in the description of what I'm wanting. So again, whenever I make these videos, they go over really well. Did you stop? Let's go through some sampling here. Come on. The thing about this album is there's a lot of like movie clips and samples, similar to how like Mortician would do. So that's when the quietness is happening. I have other Mortuary Ghoul CDs here. Like I said, I'm going to be doing another video on that, because again, that's one of my favorite death metal bands right now too. So anyway, back to Tenere Bro. So that was the 2023 EP. Next is another release that came out last year. Admittedly, one of my favorite releases. I want to get every copy of this that has been put out. This is Dalla Morte. It was a split with Mortuary Ghoul. This was one of my favorite releases last year. Oh, God, and I still listen to this all the time. A fantastic split. And these two bands are perfect together. They go so well together, considering Dismal Fate put out Mortuary Ghoul, so it just kind of makes sense. So, yeah, this is, again, amazing. So there was 3 different versions that came out. There was the cassette tape that Dismal Fate put out, and then, 2. And then there was a CD that Dismal Fate also put out. So I grabbed the cassette tape off of Iron Fortress Records, but again, I'll gladly get the CD too. I feel like, I swear there was an LP version of this, but maybe I'm thinking of something else. I would love an LP version of this, so hey, somebody press it. So it's a nice blue pro printed tape, again, with that awesome ink that you can see. Like, can you see how it's texturized? Both sides are phenomenal. Just so good. And then here is the J card. There you go. And then there you go. Dalla Morte. So this one is based off of, I had it in my head just now, and I completely lost it. I'm so sorry. This was limited to 100 copies. And same songs on both sides too, so it's not like one side is Mortuary Ghoul, one side is Tenere Bro. I forgot about the movie. Again, I don't claim to be like a horror movie aficionado. This is definitely one of those things that I'm going to be starting to get better about, because, you know, my favorite death metal bands are talking about them, and that's what their themes are. So, yeah. But anyway, this split is so good. So if you have not heard this yet, this is easily accessible. I'm pretty sure Iron Fortress still has these in stock, I think. I mean, it's only limited to 100 copies, so, but I know Dismal Fate sold out, but I've seen these in distros, so you might be able to find a copy of, but fucking phenomenal split. I'm going to grab the CD too, because, you know, why not? And then finally, the last thing that I have in my collection, and this is like, turned out to be like a trilogy of EPs, so that's basically what this is the newest release that came out this year, Inferno Contaminato. So this is brand new. I literally just got this, and let me pull up what the deal is around these releases, so I can tell like the proper story. Again, I don't claim to know everything about these movies and stuff, but this is still available. There's two different versions of this. There's this cassette tape, and then there's a special edition cassette tape that I know Iron Fortress is getting in stock. I'm going to grab it as soon as he gets it. But this is basically a 2-track mini EP that is inspired by Bruno Mattei's cult zombie film Virus, Hell of the Living Dead from 1980. This also pretty much, I think, finished a trio of albums that Tenere Bro was doing. Let me pull up that information from their Instagram. It said the final chapter of our Death trilogy has been unleashed. So it's this one. It's a 2-track mini EP. The EP features 2 tracks. It's very, very good. This is so good. The tracks pay homage to the film's grotesque atmosphere, where a chemical leak turns New Guinea into a necrotic wasteland, and a team of commandos face a horde of the dead. So I'm going to watch this movie. I'm going to find it. So the first release of this trilogy was Carne Umana. The second one was their other EP that I just showed. This one, and then here is the final of the trilogy. So again, this just came out. It's still available on Dismal Fate. I know that Iron Fortress is going to get this stock, or he might already, I don't know. But yeah, so this is my copy. And then again, there was a special edition that came with, it was like in a special bag, and it came with like a test tube with like toxic stuff in it, a patch, a postcard, a sticker. It was a vial containing the virus, and then the cassette tape, which has a totally different design. So I know the Iron Fortress is getting that in stock, so I'll be grabbing a copy of that. So again, texturized red tape. I love that red is the theme too, because you guys all know that's my favorite color, and I grabbed that. So, and then here is the awesome J card here. So good. This EP is so good. This is definitely going to be one of my favorite releases this year. I played it so much. Even when it came to streaming, I streamed it a ton. I listened to it, and then the artwork is done by Felipe Ibanez. I think he does most of their artwork, but yeah, I love zombie movies. I need to get into the old school horror zombie movies that I'm not too familiar with, so this is definitely one that I'm going to be listening to. So, and that is it. That is my Tenere Bro collection. That is the retrospective of their discography. Cannot wait for more to be released by them. Check them out if you've never snagged them. Again, most of their stuff is on Discogs for the most part, and if you're overseas on the other side of the world, it'll be easier probably for you to get, just because, you know, they're banned out of Italy, and the distribution over there is probably cheaper to get just directly through Dismal Fate if they still have stuff. So Dismal Fate does have, like I said, tons. So Dismal Fate does have a whole section on their website. I'll link in the description of their Tenere Bro official merch, and right now there's some t-shirts and hats, patches, posters, the CD. Oh, it's sold out of the split with Mortuary Ghoul. So if you're looking for more merchandise, that's a good place to get it. So yeah, man, Dismal Fate, Tenere Bro, Mortuary Ghoul, all of my favorite stuff right now. I've been super obsessed with hunting and trying to find things. I've been trying to get other Dismal Fate releases that I missed out on over the years, and trying to get those in my collection because he's got a great ear for this like modern horror grotesque style of death metal that I really absolutely love. So that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Check out Tenere Bro. Links in the description for everything, every single EP, all this stuff. Also a list of things that I'm hunting that you might have for sale. Hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, or just comment on this video, and I'll definitely try to make a sale for you. So that's all I have. I'll see you guys in the next one.